Right. That's what we saw in game number 1 when Masters and EDG didn't want to play into the Sivir. They just banned it. They took it straight off the board, and they knew Def's Callista was also pretty scary, so they removed that too.
When the best team in the world is banning Sivir, maybe you should look at it.
Yeah, probably worth a little bit of investigation. Xiaogu opt to ban the Echo away from either Xie, Spirit, or Luca. I could see that being a Spirit pick. I could see him getting away with Echo.
He's played Riven in the jungle, so...
Yeah, a little interesting.
By
Callista is the targeted ban from WE. Xiaogu have got one left as Fizz and Victor have already been taken from the board. The last remaining ban. Will it be Sivir?
I expect that it might transition into jungle priority against Swift or we had Rek'Sai and Gragas in the last game. Kind of curious to see those champions go through, but again, on 5.10, there's a lot more new champions to deal with, and obviously the bans are responding to that. It is actually going to be the Nautilus. Yeah,
Nautilus taken away from WE as they Conan gets that removed. Rise is the last ban. Again, as you mentioned, this is 5.10. That explains why Rise is being taken, because he is so strong.
That said, again, all of the jungles available, Sejuani, Gragas, Nunu, or even Alistar as the support pickup if you want to go that route. There are a lot of high priority picks, and it all goes back to 5.10. There's a lot more champions to deal with, so a lot more bans are being spreaded then. Not so much emphasis on target banning it and kind of fine-tuning your strategy as everyone kind of feels out Fizz, Rise, and Echo.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see how Xiaogu are planning this ban phase out, because they banned away the Nautilus and then immediately first picked Alistar, so some big priority showing for the bottom lane, though they let Sivir go through. And, oh, come on, pick it up. Spirit looks at the Nidalee, one of his best carries, while Aluka looks at the Sivir, switches it back to Gragas. Come on, go to the Nidalee.
Go Nidalee, Spirit. Do it.
You can do it. We're cheering for you here. And Gragas.
Okay, so it is going to be the Gragas and the Sivir. So happy to see WE immediately shift gears, getting that priority pick onto Mystic, see if he makes more impact with it than he did Vayne last game. And likewise, it's a big denial away from TNT and what he's found most success on.
Definitely have to keep track of Mystic's progress this game as compared to that of the Vayne, as Xiaogu looked to put Hecarim on their side of the roster. Once again, V did exceptionally well last time. Maokai is still on the board, so we could have a similar matchup in Swift. Looking at that Sejuani there, she did receive a minor nerf in 5.10 to her W damage, but Swift says, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Goes back to the Rek'Sai. I want to point out V picking up the Hecarim here. I feel like he's almost forced into that matchup, despite the fact that Gnar hasn't been shown yet. Gnar has a very favorable matchup 1v1 into Hecarim just because he can itemize into that Frozen Mallet. But the fact that Sivir has already been shown by WE, Hecarim Sivir is just way too strong a combo. Obviously, the On the Hunt ultimate is going to give Hecarim just flat damage because of how fast he's moving on his devastating charge when he runs into you, as well as the hard engage potential of Onslaught of Shadows. So yes, Hecarim's a very powerful champion still in the current meta, despite the kind of the tweaks that have been made on 5.10. But it's more of like a takeaway that we can't let you have Sivir and Hecarim, so we need to commit on this now.
Yeah, so WE decide to opt towards a more team fight-oriented composition as Thresh is locked in for Conan, and that's going to be Aluka on that Rumble in the top lane. Kind
of curious here, not really an Aluka-style champion. Again, much more about the meta role-playing tanks like Maokai and his Scion. And his Scion's been available, hasn't touched it.
Ooh, you can see right now Doinby looking at that LeBlanc, as on the camera you got TCT hovering that over. Does look like last pick is still open for Xie, and Tristana's locked in for TNT, and yeah, that's going to be the same Rek'Sai LeBlanc combo from previous game.
The kill pressure and absurd damage that can come out of the 2v2 in the mid jungle of Rek'Sai LeBlanc is insane. And again, like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and with that, you've got Xie looking for his last counter pick into this combination. And it is a pretty tricky combination because mid-game, you've got LeBlanc and Hecarim to deal with. Late game, you've got Tristana and Hecarim to deal with, and LeBlanc if she did well in the mid-game.
Ooh.
How do you deal with that, though?
Shield.
Yeah, just kill them all. Take Kassadin.
The other storyline that we haven't really touched on is Hero, the coach for Xiaogu, used to be the coach for WE.
Ooh, bit of rivalry there. Ooh, that's a hard word.
Yep, he'll be that blonde guy standing behind them. This is actually Doinby, though, so the other blonde guy.
Yeah.
But it is going to be the Cassidy lock-in. Now, Cassidy is a good answer to LeBlanc. Obviously, his lane phase, although it's more about just being equal on farm because you're still a melee-based champion. But it's really hard for LeBlanc actually to burst through Cassidy's shield that he'll get. So it's not that awful of a matchup. I think it would actually favor Cassidy as far as the lane phase is concerned.
I think the big turning point for that, though, is going to be the junglers in that opposition. You've got the Rek'Sai locked in, and I believe that was the Gragas locked in as well.
Yep,
so
Swift and Spirit on the screen right now.
Yeah, and you can see the Gragas and Rek'Sai right there. Will they be able to tilt this mid matchup in favor of Doinb once again, or will Xie end up coming out on top as he's taking that Cassidy into LeBlanc? Once again, Mystic onto Sivir, taking it away from TNT, who decides to match his hair to Riot Girl Tristana.
It's important to note, though, that Cassidy's not going to have really any kill pressure on LeBlanc without his Rift Walk available. It's going to be very hard to kill LeBlanc, but he'll be able to survive the lane just fine.
Yeah, I think that's the more important thing, because even though Xie didn't really have a lot of kill potential on Ahri either, he had a little bit more difficulty surviving.
Well, he got the snowball pre-Ahri 6.
Yeah.
And so obviously if she had her post 6, that she would have been able to Spirit Walk and try to avoid that. But when LeBlanc gets that snowball so early on, your lane's pretty much done.
Yeah, so Doinb very strong. We'll see if he's able to duplicate his success as we're loading into the Rift for game number 2. And we have loaded into the Rift. It's Xiaogu versus World Elite in game number 2 of set number 2 of day number 1 of week number 4 of the League of Legends Pro League. Yeah, that's a lot of numbers right there. But the only thing you need to know about right now is TCT is about to get ganked. Spirit and Conan go forward. He drops a ward. Mystic sees it, and they let him go. That's anticlimactic.
I know, you went really high there, and I was like,
so excited.
Hasn't wound up the animation at all. In fact, did he have Flight? No, he did not. Nope. So he hasn't skilled any ability yet.
Yeah, so with that, you actually have a recall coming out of TNT and TCT, as you saw the showing from TCT in the bottom, but decides to back away. Doinb dashes forward, drops a ward, and gets right on out of there. Spirit, hits him. Uh-oh, this could be dangerous. The death sentence lands as well. Doinb is burning that crystalline flask to try staying alive. He hasn't burned any summoners just yet. The Ignite goes burnt. Is he going to get out? And yeah, he is, in fact, able to do exactly that. The rest of Xiaogu are in position to keep him alive, but that delays his lane just a bit. Yep,
it will definitely give a strong advantage to Xie. The thing that I want to touch upon, though, is teams both started out in a standard 5-point covering their jungle entrances, and this is something that's very common, is that you step forward and you ward, and you make sure that the enemy team sees you place a ward to kind of mind game them. And speaking of mind games...
Yeah, oh boy, Aluka's trying to set up a freeze too. Oh no, he suddenly found out. The Ignite goes down. They're going to try burning through his health bar as quick as they can. He burns Flash and gets under the turret. But Aluka's like, man, that freeze was set up so good, too.
And this is what we were just about to talk about. It's the mind game, because then you rotate top. You make sure that you get the lane swap. Aluka obviously had no idea that they were going to be waiting in the bush for him. They didn't pull the minion wave to do a fast push. Instead, it's going to be a freeze. But they forced the flash as well as the TP out of Aluka.
Yeah, and Xiaogu, they clear out their own side red and immediately swing up to the top. Not even going to go to clear the blue buff or even head through that side of the jungle. They want to try diving Aluka, but this guy's smart. He learns fast.
And I misspoke. It is actually going to be a fast push, especially with so many members rotating towards that top lane. Aluka, like you said, makes the correct maneuver, pulls all the way off, and more importantly, Conan timed his back appropriately, and they've now given Aluka some resources to deal and hopefully get back to this turret. This is saving Private Aluka, and he needs to get back on the tower with at least 2 other members.
Yeah, hopefully he can make it under there while the push continues from Doinb and Xie in the mid. And in the bottom lane, you've got the solo farm from Mystic. So the big question is, will they be able to make it? Aluka's clearing out his red buff right now, so the vertical jungling is not going to be happening from Xiaogu. And V's actually even teleporting as Mystic went for a fast shove, and without any kill pressure, V feels totally safe.
Yeah, exactly. He's able to do that because he knows where all of the resources from WE are, so he knows he can't get 4-man dove like they were about to do to Aluka, but hey, he got back to the tower.
He did, and look who's there with him. It's Spirit to make sure that there isn't going to be any sort of silly shenanigans. Conan's actually waiting in the wings. Remember, he took Death Sentence level 1, so they could be looking for a pick right now, except for the fact that he shows himself, and they're not looking for a pick at all.
He's just saying hello.
Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of hello.
Hello. It's like
Goodbye?
yeah, it's like poking on Facebook.
No.
Some damage coming across as Doinby forced to get out of the harass. What do you mean no? They were poking.
But this is important. LeBlanc losing the matchup and effectively an isolated lane. So the big thing about when lane swaps come through is it isolates the mid lane. So it works really well if you have a hyper-scaling mid laner. Of course, in this case, we have two assassins, Cassidy and LeBlanc. But the fact that Doinby was delayed to his lane because he got caught up in that level 1 gave Xie the advantage, and it's starting to pay off, forcing Doinby back early again.
And just like that, Doinby goes for the first recall, gets some more consumables, and gets a Fairy Charm. V trading with some excellent harass onto Mystic. Not having unit collision is working pretty solid for V right now as he's getting some big damage across. He's got Ignite, but suddenly realizes he may have extended it just a touch too far. Runs back to the safety of his minion wave.
I'd like to think that Conan completely meant to do that, but meanwhile in the mid lane, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
Conan flashed forward, and he hooked Targon procced on a minion.
Deliberate.
Yep. It was just
it was a zoning flash.
It was to save Mystic. He was going to lose so much health. He needed the
Targon to heal him, yeah.
Exactly.
It ended up working out so well. Pay no attention to the fact that Mystic had to burn his heal. Minor detail. The fast push coming out of TNT as he looks to take down that turret. You can see Tristana doing some serious damage here. Spirit trying to help save it, but he can't quite make it in time, and suddenly Aluka, who's all by his lonesome, has to back away once again.
One of the few champions that can really keep up and even overshadow Sivir and her siege potential is Tristana, and it's because her satchel now, her E, is able to stack onto a tower and then do extra damage when she finally gets enough autos and it times out and procs.
Some serious damage there. The smite from Swift secures the Krug, while the rest of the fast push occurs on the bottom side of the map. So far the turret is still standing. There's going to be a cannon minion wave coming if they can install it. Oh, no, it gets out of the turret in time, so that turret's not going to fall quite this way.
Let's kind of take stock of everything that's really happened in this lane swap. So we had some mind games. Big thing, Doinby was delayed to lane. Aluka had to burn all of the summoners. And really what this turns out to is that Aluka has been suffering probably the most. I mean, Doinby's having a rough go at it, but he's staying relatively serviceable as far as CS as we see him get bullied around by Xie on the screen. But Aluka, 11 to 23. More importantly, the level discrepancy, level 5 to level 3 on Rumble, especially as teams start to transition and turn towards that dragon. V is going to be so much more potent and ready for a big 5v5 before Aluka.
Yeah, finally the turret goes down. Instant recall out of TNT, and you can already see TCT heading down to the bottom along with Swift as they could be looking to help defend the turret. With 4 members on the bottom side of the map, Xiaogu feeling very strong after this one. They do turn on to Conan and pick him up, going 2 members into the 3 here. They might be able to get another kill. Mystic goes down to V. Xiaogu just slaughtered the bottom lane.
Onslaught of Shadows.
Go for the dive, level 6. It's a double kill for V.
And of course, V got the level up in the middle of that fight. Had the Onslaught of Shadows, knew that they could chase, just correctly juggle the aggro. Beautiful right there. And that's what we were talking about. The big difference so far in these teams is the discrepancy between the top laners. They're both... oh, hold on.
Yeah, some action in the mid lane. TCT with the roam helps Doinby out. He's like, you know what? You're at a deficit. Let me cover that for you.
I love Alistar as it's not a response to Kassadin. Obviously, Kassadin was picked into the Alistar, but I always love Alistar as a response to Kassadin just because he has so much kill potential in Kassadin pre-level 6 because you can just walk up behind him, pop him off the tower, and dive him.
That's exactly what we saw. Suddenly, it's 4-0 in favor of Xiaogu. Finally, Aluka gets to the top lane. He's like, I finally closed the CS gap, guys. I'm even with my opponent. Wait, where did these kills come from?
Wait, he has his ultimate and I don't?
Yeah. V doing very solid. Once again, opting for the Merc Treads first and looking for the Trinity Force second in that hyper-aggressive Hecarim build with Swift. Secures his red buff on this side of the map. And really, Xiaogu are feeling very phenomenal. They're up 3,000 gold. They've secured that first turret, and they're still even managing to hold the bottom tier 1 as well.
Fairly even across the board as far as CS as well, despite the discrepancy in the top lane. The question now is how are Xiaogu going to transition their power spike from taking the first tower in the top lane into an advantage into the bottom side of the map for that dragon?
Definitely keep track of that. So far, there isn't a lot of vision around that side as Xie trades with Doinby a bit. Typically, the big indicator I've seen has been vision. People put wards, they take Scuttle Crab, they prepare for Dragon by making sure that they can't get flanked. Another way to do it...
They don't rush top on both your junglers.
Yeah, is also to just kill someone. And V right now looks like he's going to be the best candidate for that, as he's got some serious damage, and Aluka still isn't level 6. Especially now that Swift is on that side of the map, so... excited to see where the junglers do end up going.
What's important is because both, oh, this is cool. So V and Swift have teleports effectively. You have the teleport summoner available for V, and likewise you have the Rek'Sai ult available for Swift. They can actually gank the enemy teleport, Aluka here, and if they kill him, it's not like WE can respond with a dragon, because Swift and V can quickly just be on the other side of the map because tunnels have been placed appropriately. So this is actually a really cool pressure point, understanding that they have complete map control and pressure here. They just need to eliminate that poor little Rumble.
They're doing a pretty solid job so far. It's a 25 CS lead. Xie Rift walks out of that turret as Doinby and Swift zone him away. That's the duo we see in action, and this is actually pretty interesting to see so far. Xiaogu so far haven't been relying on Swift, on Doinby for their carry like they did in the last game. It's been Swift who went for that gank in the bottom lane, and with that, V was able to get 2 kills, Swift got one of his own, and now that they've got complete control of the map and a complete lack of vision from WE, Xiaogu looked to take their first dragon.
Nope, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, Doinby fell behind in the mid lane, so not a lot of kill pressure right there.
And there's the dragon.
It's the caster curse. You talk about how they're going to gank top lane. Unfortunately for Aluka, he caught it and he backed up, so it was actually just a really good response from WE to see what they were thinking, but I really wanted the dive.
I like to think it was actually the caster curse speaking to Doinby through time and space. He heard a voice in his head saying, they're going to gank top. Oh no, I should back away. And so he goes into the turret. So Doinby doing pretty solid in the mid lane. He actually opted for a more defensive build this game with the Chalice as V finds Aluka on the backside. He actually does damage to the minions instead of to Aluka. Oh,
the
really
minions are more of a threat at this point.
Yeah.
That's a level 8 Hecarim to a poor little level 6 Rumble.
Poor little guy not doing so well.
I always imagine Aluka, like no matter what champion he's on, he's Sion, Maokai, like these big, massive, bulky champions, Mega Knight's like, oh, poor little Aluka.
Poor little Sion.
Poor little guy.
He just wants to charge through the enemy team.
That was scary.
Yeah.
I really want Rumble to get a Roomba skin, just because I feel like he's a vacuum cleaner.
Rumble Roomba?
Yeah, or Rammus to get a Roomba skin.
So basically, he just wears a giant cat costume and sits on top of a Roomba?
I don't know what you guys use your Roombas for, but I use mine for vacuuming.
Oh, man.
I've seen the video.
Okay, so you do get the reference. Thank you.
Yeah. I just don't understand what people's obsession is with putting their cats on top of vacuum cleaners.
I was about to start going into detail into why cats are superior Roomba riders.
Mercy.
V has a nice big wave pushed up in the top as he's going to continue farming it out. About a 26 CS lead now on top of Aluka on top of those kills.
On
Swift,
top?
On top, on top. Swift on top of that secures the Scuttle Crab, dodges the body slam, and the equalizer comes out from Aluka, but I don't think it's going to be enough as V ignites him. Doesn't even have to burn the Onslaught of Shadows. They don't even decide to turn on the Spirit.
I mean, this is, again, a classic problem. This is exactly what we were talking about. Aluka, when he's placed on champions that aren't those hyper tanks, or I guess I'll just call them super tanks, he absorbs so much of Spirit's time and energy just to help him go even or be serviceable in the lane that Spirit's not able to impact any other point on the map.
That's what we're seeing right now. It's 5-0 in favor of Xiaogu. TCT looks for some damage onto Conan as the wave was pushing forward, but TNT is not ready to follow up with only his BF Sword and Boots. He's just going to continue farming to try to match that CS that Mystic has. And things really seem to be a little bit slower this game. The majority of the plays and kills so far have been around Swift, so we've really got to keep an eye on his progress.
We're shifting back to more of Xiaogu's expected identity and being a Swift carry team. And the reason why things are okay to kind of slow the pace down is because there's really no big objectives to contest, which is why now we're contesting over little objectives, like the blue buff.
Blue, and with that, 3 members go in. Flash knockup finds TCT. He's taken away from his own lantern, forced to flash the wall. Doinby could look to chase as everyone else has joined the battle, but more importantly, V has joined the battle. Doinby manages to get the kill onto Spirit over the wall. V comes around as there is a very solid death sentence, but no follow-up. WE back away, and the blue is going to be stolen by Xiaogu. Likely, there's what
It's going to go to Doinby.
Yeah, what can they steal?
This is a wonderful call from Xiaogu right now, knowing that they're so far ahead in the top lane and knowing that they have the TP there. It doesn't even matter that there's no TP discrepancy, because even if a Luca followed, and that would have been a perfect rumble in a small corridor in a jungle like that, there's just... Hecarim is massive, and Rumble just can't compete with that damage. So they immediately translate their pressure to the bottom side of the map, knowing that it can be a 4v5, or even if it is a 5v5, that they have the advantage anyway.
Yeah, so Xiaogu returning to the form that has worked so well for them. TNT actually going 1v2 here. Flash dodges the hook and even gets the kill onto Conan. Boomerang is going to hit him. Is he going to be able to get out of this? He jumps the flash heal. He keeps himself alive. Here's TCT. He breaks the spell shield. V is joining the battle. Mystic is almost surely dead. Great body slam for the slow, but Mystic is removed from V. So much damage, and what a play. A beautiful performance from TNT. I said it before and I'll say it again. This guy will eventually be an elite AD carry. There he is on your screen. Doesn't have purple hair anymore, but a great smile because that was fantastic. Yeah, he just styled on Mystic and Conan, and so far that seems to be the name of the game, as Xiaogu have been styling on World Elite throughout this entire series. And TNT has kind of been the background for a very long time. He's not new to the Chinese scene. Formerly went by Fish, Quiet, and Avenger. Oh, hold on. Yeah, TCT was trying to bait out some action there as he was quote-unquote caught by WE, but instead Swift and Doinby have joined the battle. They don't have V, he's on the other side of the map, and TNT's at pretty low health, so they decide to back away. But as I was going to say, it's great to finally see TNT get a true stage and to kind of set him up for greatness and to have some fantastic resources around him like Doinby, like Swift. And now Doinby has to run away from the four-man gank squad of WE. And he's mobile enough. He is on LeBlanc with the Athene's Unholy Grail first. He's got more than enough mana to keep himself out of there. He's even looking for the flank right now with the Mimicked Distortion to fully clear out that minion wave. Actually goes in as Swift decides he wants a fight. This is 3 versus 4 here. Now 4 versus 4 as TNT has joined the battle. Mystic comes in, making it a 3 versus 5, and the kills are coming across left and right. It's QG picking up a majority of them. They're turning in. He's getting reset after reset here. Are they going to dive this? He jumps into the turret to try to get damage on the Spirit, but little Tristana can't take that turret quite long enough. He goes low. Is Spirit going to go down? It is. An ace for Xiaogu. And again, V is just so massive from this early game. Did fantastic in the mid game, and it's just starting to pay off as this game, I say mid game, it's only 16 minutes in. Yeah. This Hecarim is massive. Came into the backside of the fight like billiard balls. WE was stacked up, and they just got scattered around, reset after reset for TNT. And this game is on the back of V, and what's really encouraging is that V primarily was playing a lot of tank champions. Hecarim is a big, most played champion for him, but starting to see him take more of a carry-oriented role as, again, moving pressure off of Swift. This isn't just a team about the jungle now. It can be about Doinby, it can be about TNT and TCT, and it can also be about V. Yeah, a really great play out of Xiaogu is going to reward them with the ace. They knocked down that mid-tier 1 turret. And unfortunately, they were not able to take the mid-tier 2 just yet, but Dragon has now respawned, and everyone's headed onto that side of the map. TNT looking very strong, and Doinby very strong himself as he decided to go for the more defensive build this time. He doesn't want to take any chances with GA's Cassidon. We talked about the Swippy Swappy. So the Athenes and the Chalice, I call the Thirsty Cup and the Big Gulp. Which you can now purchase from 7-Eleven. Yep. Oh my gosh. The Sippy Cup and the Big Gulp. Thirsty Cup. The Thirsty Cup. Why is the Thirsty Cup? I don't know. Because you're thirsty for the mana region? I guess so. What about the Forbidden Idol? I can't say that one on air. Yeah, so the Dragon is going to be secured by Xiaogu as they've got complete control over that side of the map. And with all of the tier 1s down, what's next for Xiaogu? The game. I mean, to be frank, we're at a 10K gold deficit. I said mid-game into late game because the game was just spiraling so out of control. Again, it's only 18 minutes. The surrender button isn't even an option for WE. Yeah, this game is accelerating quickly out of control, and despite the, I would say, a better draft phase to their previous game, it's just not quite working out this well for Xiaogu. But again, for WE.
the weaknesses in putting a Luca on these champions that he's not comfortable with and absorbing so much of Spirit's time. WE really excel when Spirit's able to give his attention to either Mystic or Xie. And in a lane swap like that against Xie, he did fantastic. He got actually the edge on Doinb, but it didn't equate into anything.
Yeah, take a look at the wards for Xiaogu on this side of the map. They don't have a single defensive ward. They're all offensive. And speaking of offense, they find Aluka under his tier 2 turret, and they ignore it completely. Going for the dive, they harass him, burn his flash, burn his equalizer. He just wants some CS, guys.
Nice thing is that Aluka is starting to shore up the level discrepancy. He is level 10 to V's level 11.
12.
No, he just got 12. Darn it, I tried to give you something, Aluka.
Still 2 levels down.
I'll keep fishing for him.
Yeah, Doinb does secure the blue. No, TNT gets it. He's like, ah, come on, guys. What's with the LPL and stealing blue buffs away from your mid laner?
Sometimes you're just thirsty. He's got a thirsty, or he's got a big gulp. He doesn't need the blue buff.
But he already has one, too.
No need to be greedy.
Dude, Zed needs blue buff. Cooldown reduction.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a CDR.
I use it for my energy regen.
I would say that normally this is about the time that teams are setting up for Baron just because there's a window of opportunity where the dragon is down. So for 6 minutes you can play to the top side, but it hasn't spawned yet.
Well, you're actually only 6 seconds away, so hold on to that point, and now.
Okay.
So teams can start setting up for the Baron now.
Oh, really?
I mean, that was your point.
Hold on, though.
Yeah, Doinb getting aggressive. Swift dives into the front line. He's 1v5 here, but suddenly V has joined the battle, and that's a little bit more even. TCT tanking under the turret. Doinb gets under. The Ignite burns him down as V is doing some serious work here. TCT doesn't even care that there's a turret there. The rest of Xiaogu complete the dive, and so far Mystic has been the only one to go down, but finally TCT falls to Xie. And this is going to be the tier 2 turret siege out of QG.
That was a 6 versus 4, and the reason why I say that is because
oh my goodness.
Poor Aluka. Tristana wasn't there, and WE had a tower.
Yep, excellent play out of Xiaogu. They take down the tier 2. Xie looking to clear out some of the Rek'Sai tunnels, but he's not even going to get that for himself as he's running for his life. But I think he's going to run out of mana before he can outrun Xiaogu.
He's fine. Swift can't cut him off just because he is such low health that it would be a risk that he could trade 1-for-1. And I don't think he wants to die for free to Xie.
Yeah, 1, 1, and 8. You got to protect the KDA. He's got a 9 KDA right now.
Doing Swift things.
Hashtag Swift things. Doinb, despite going for a fully defensive start, has now completed a needlessly large rod and is shoring up that KDA to a 4-0-2. But I mean, look at V, man. He's 8-0-4. You can even see on the player cam on the bottom left down there, TNT is grinning from ear to ear. QG are having a great game.
He's probably looking at the CS difference between Doinb and Xie right now. That's 70 CS. If you have to think that every 12 to 13 CS is effectively a kill's worth of gold, you just do that math real quick.
6 kills?
Yep.
7 kills? 6.5?
Less.
Ish.
Because you got 12 to 13.
12 to 13.
Yeah, it's about 5 or 6.
That's pretty good. Regardless of those kills, however, why use CS to get kills when you can just get kills? Doinb gets pulled in through the hook, however. He's so low. Oh! Spirit finally is going to catch him from behind. V coming in from the backside on Mystic is going to absolutely destroy him. Swift cutting off the escape for Spirit. He says, you know what? You kill my hyperscaling mid LeBlanc. Well, we're just going to make you pay for it.
He did it with style. I can't imagine that Spirit's very angry about that. With the cask. It's always so satisfying.
With 4 members dead, you've got QG now shoving up the mid lane. I believe that's a cannon minion wave, so they should be able to take this inhibitor. Xie's back up, Mystic's up in 5, and instead they decide to sack the mid lane and take the last tier 2 turret.
They have the Unbreakable Will available to them, so should they want to just straight tank a tower, although the minion wave's there, they can always just have Alistar press R. Although Alistar looking for the... Oh, that's mean.
Yes. The turret goes down. TCT 1v4 now as he's trying to tank up in the front line. CC locks him up so much, but they just cannot hurt him. Equalizer cuts off his escape path. Righteous Glory now burned in order to escape. And V goes in. He scatters the billiard balls. Conan is the first to fall. It's a double kill now for TNT. It's V who gets a kill for his own. And while Aluka decides to join up with the rest of his team, he realizes they're already dead, so just runs back to the fountain.
Beautiful play from V right there. He hit 4, I think it was either 3 or 4 members, and TNT with his positioning over the wall Splash damage across all, leaps in, and that's a clean sweep for Xiaogu.
Yeah, Xiaogu going 2-0 in this series with an incredible game. We saw multiple carries coming across for Xiaogu. It wasn't Swift who put the team on the back this time. It was Doink, it was V, it was DNT.
And that's exactly what's really refreshing, is to continue to see Xiaogu evolve and how they're changing as a team and who they're relying on. And when you have a team that's weighted, my mid lane can show up, my bot lane can show up, my top lane can be a carry. They just become that much scarier to prep and to fight.
Yeah, and we just saw that from WE. They were not prepared at all. Illidan was quoting at them, and unfortunately they took that 0-2 defeat. You can see the bowing coming out of Xiaogu as they celebrate that exceptional victory. Carries all across.
Beautiful performance from V. I would be shocked if he didn't see the MVP.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out after a short break, but let's talk a little bit more about WE. What do they need to do to start fixing some of those holes in their lineup?
I mean, frankly, Aluka needs to go back to hyper tanks, and Gragas, the pick really isn't just working for Spirit. I think he needs more of a hard carry style jungler like Rek'Sai, someone who can... It's hard to say because it's inappropriate to say that Gragas doesn't have carry potential because he's so powerful right now in the current meta. But maybe look towards a different direction. He finds a lot of success on Rek'Sai. He finds a lot of success on Nidalee. Maybe go that direction. Likewise, you can't lose lane across every single board.
Yeah, and Mystic, he took Vayne in game number 1, didn't do that well, and in game number 2, he did take a more standard meta champion on that Sivir, but just wasn't able to do that well in lane, and things just didn't look that great for WE. I'm curious to see what they might be trying next week, or actually not even next week, because I'm pretty sure they're playing tomorrow.
Yeah, they play all 3 days. Again, this is a massive weekend for WE. They had 9 points up for grab. Of course, they get 0-2'd by Xiaogu, but they'll face unlimited potential, and I'm spacing on their second match. But they have 3 matches this week, so this is do or die for WE.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of opportunity for redemption, but that's going to be it for us. The LPL was going to take a quick break, and we're going to swap out our casters for some fresh voices and fresh faces. But thanks again for watching, guys. Don't go anywhere.